One of the problems that can occur when replacing the lower arms on the Mark IV Golf and any similar vehicles is that the bolt that goes from the drop link here to the lower arm itself can strip the thread, particularly on non-VW lower arms. I've had it happen a couple of times over the years now. Previously I just replaced the lower arm. The cost for the lower arm was minimal, so it was just an easier job to replace it rather than have to try and fix it. But for this one I've already had the tracking done on the car, so I don't really want to have to replace the lower arm and get that done again. So this time what I've decided to do is to use a Helicoil kit which will replace the thread. There are 3 stages to it. The first step is to drill out the old thread, then to tap in a new thread, and finally to put in the new thread into the lower arm. I bought a Helicoil kit from eBay which cost me £17.95, which is just less than a new lower arm would be. This kit comes with 3 different sizes, an M6, M8 and M10, and it's the M10 that you need for the lower arm. There are 3 stages to replacing the thread. First one is to drill out the old thread with a slightly oversized drill bit. You then use the tap to put in a slightly wider thread than was originally there, and you then put in the Helicoil and tighten that up. Before getting started, what I recommend you just try is to make sure that the Helicoil actually goes on to the bolt, and checking that the thread is actually the right size. What you're trying to do here is to make sure that you get the drill bit lined up as straight as possible so that you're not drilling at an angle into the lower arm. We now have the drill bit gone in, and that's now the correct size. I think possibly what the problem is on these non-VW lower arms is that the thread here is actually quite a little bit thinner than the standard ones, so it's not actually that deep, which is why it can quite easily strip. So what we need to do now is to cut the new thread so we can put in the Helicoil. Something that doesn't actually come with the Helicoil kit that I bought is the attachment to turn the piece for cutting the new thread, but fortunately I had an existing one that I've been able to use. So we're just going to put this in and turn to get the new thread. So I'm just gradually turning the tap so we can put the new thread in, and that's almost there. The Helicoil comes with a tab on one end which allows you to put it into the tool and be able to turn it within the thread. So with the Helicoil in place, we can just turn it into the thread, gradually just putting it in place. So we just need to jack up the lower arm to line up the drop link, and initially I'm turning the bolt by hand just to get it in, but I'm now going to put a socket on it and see if we can tighten it up. So with the Helicoil in place, managed to ratchet up the bolt, tighten it with the socket,